Good evening, everyone. Welcome. That seemed weird to say that, but anyway, welcome to another edition of 10 unedited minutes with Marlena. Yes, this is truly unedited. That's why I paused and did not go back to say that welcome again. But it is evening on Wednesday, June 24th. And the reason I am recording this podcast so late is because I had my granddaughter all day. And my granddaughter is in her Grammy era, meaning she is attached to my hip when she's here. And I say that with a smile because I love every second of it. And I tried to fight it a little bit today, tried to get Grandpa to entertain her for a minute so I could record this podcast, but she wanted no part of it. And so I gave up and I decided to wait until she went home. So today, let's get this show on the road, I guess. It's time, right? Today's podcast is sponsored by my dear friend, Rebecca Conklin-Kleibomer. And if you're new here, we have the honor of being sponsored by Rebecca for 2 months. And to honor her, I am doing 60 days of remembering Rebecca. So I don't know what day it is today, but today's memory is of a time when Rebecca was being an absolute true friend to me and agreed to go to Fort Wayne with me. And I don't know how many of you know Vera Bradley is a designer bag maker and one of my favorite purses. I love Vera Bradley purses. And every year, I don't think they do it anymore, but every year they would have an outlet sale in Fort Wayne. And it was always one time a year. And I don't think at the time they were selling tickets to it. I don't know, but I just know we had to go and we had to wait in line. And I was telling her about it and she goes, I like purses. I know I don't really like Vera Bradley purses, but I'll go with you. So Rebecca and I took a road trip. At the time, Rebecca lived in Findlay. So it took like a good hour and a half to 2 hours for her to pick me up and then get to Fort Wayne. And so in that time in the car was so much fun. Rebecca has a little bit of road rage. I really think it's gotten better. But as we were younger, it was quite comical. And every time she would yell at another driver, it was almost like she had Tourette's. I would just die laughing. It was so funny. But this was the first time that Rebecca and I had ever taken a long road trip together. So I didn't know like her car antics. She didn't know my car antics. And we were crossing the Ohio-Indiana line. And Rebecca, I know you know what I'm going to say, and you are cackling right now. But whenever my husband and I cross a state line, it's a competition as to who gets in the state first. So we have to put our hand out in front of us as fast as we can to see who gets there first. And I had no idea that Rebecca didn't know what this was. And I did it. And I am probably lucky to be alive because I think I scared the ever-living shit out of Rebecca. She kind of screamed. I'm sorry, but she was like, what the fuck was that? So anyway, I showed Rebecca how to win at getting into the state first. So there's actually 2 parts to this memory, and I'm saving the second part of it for tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for part 2. But part 1 was how I scared the ever-living shit out of Rebecca as we drove to Fort Wayne. And I also learned something else in that the first 30 minutes of that car ride was do not touch her thermostat because I was getting cold. I just automatically reach and turn it down. And she was like, what the fuck are you doing? So Rebecca's cockpit is her cockpit. The passenger side is mine. Don't touch anything in her cockpit. We'll be just fine. Oh my gosh, how much fun we had that day. Just in the trip the drive there was just hilarious and fun. So I love you, Rebecca. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. But let's get into it today. First of all, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a bit of a different angle today. I thought I would try something a little bit different. I put the camera right in front of my face instead of off to the side like I have been. So yes, you get to see a little bit of the crafting treasures I have behind me, maybe a little more mess back here on my desk. But somebody once told me somebody with a bunch of piles on their desk is a very successful person. So yeah, look at my desk. I am very successful, I guess. But anyway, so that tells you this podcast is out on YouTube. It's also streamed on Apple Podcast and Spotify and Prime Music. And that is all done through the platform Buzzsprout. And that's what my sponsorships pay for, is just the monthly subscription to Buzzsprout. So if you love my work, you love my podcast, and you want to show me some support, it's $25 a month. You can sponsor me, and I will give you a shout out at the beginning and end of each podcast, and then on any social media postings that I do for this podcast. So let's get into it today. And today might be a little bit longer than 10 minutes, guys, because we're already over halfway, but something has got my mind just completely spinning right now, and it is ChatGPT. Listen, I have ran what I was going to say in this podcast over in my head probably 20 times today, and it just is going to take a long time to explain it. So let me lay some groundwork for you first. In the last year, I feel like my life has been one of refocus, and rebuilding. So as you all know, in December of last year, I closed my business of 12 years. And for those of you that have been following me my whole life, you probably don't remember this, but it's coming up on a year of when I made that decision to close the dough hook. And it was a tough decision for me, but the decision was made based on me being extremely burnt out. There's just no other way to put it. So when you are burnt out, I don't think you realize the level of burnout you are until after everything is worn off and things have kind of calmed down in your life. So for the last year, I have been looking for a job, and I kind of started that search a year ago, April, just very casually, but then really ramped it up when I made the final decision to sell/close the dough hook. And when I permanently closed in December, I really ramped up my search for a job, and never in a million years did I think it would be this hard or take this long to become employed. I'm a pretty damn good catch. I have owned a business for 12 years. Before that, I was in the newspaper industry. I was a journalist. I know how to write. I did everything in the company that I owned, from plunging the toilet all the way up to keeping the books. So everything in between. And I'm good at it. I'm good at a little bit of everything, and very adaptable. But anyway, it's enough tooting my own horn. But when you're burnt out, it's really hard to take on new projects like job hunting, but I did it. And I think I burnt myself out job hunting as well, because after December, starting in January, I would spend 4 hours a day searching job boards, crafting a cover letter and resume to a specific job description, and sending it off. So sometimes even 8 hours a day. Like, that was my full-time job, was trying to find a job. And I mean, when I say that I have spent a lot of time, I'm going to tell you, I've probably sent out over 180 cover letters and resumes in the last year, and can count on one hand the number of interviews that I've gotten, and can probably count on 2 or 3 hands just the number of responses, period, that I got from those resumes and cover letters. It's insane. The job, it's just insane. So yeah, so I took a break from it, and I decided to refocus my energy on starting my own marketing and small business consulting company, Hook and Rise Creative. And I decided that because I'm like, hell, I'm spending 8 hours a day applying for new jobs. What if I would take all that energy and just throw it into a new company, right? So I did that, and the economy comes into play here. It's come into play since making the decision to close the dough hook, but the economy sucks. I'm just going to say it. The economy sucks right now. And my mom and I have been having a lot of conversations about the economy. And before I get into that, I just want to say that whenever the economy sucks, small businesses are not doing well right now. And I've told this to my mom several times, that if you are a small business and you say that you're doing well, you're lying, because I can't imagine a small business that is not suffering in one way or the other. Your margins have gotten tighter. Your payroll has gone up. Like, it's just not as easy as it used to be a small business owner. And so when things get tight, the first thing a small business will cut is their marketing, right? Unfortunately, I don't believe in that either, but that's the truth of it. That's the crux. So to start a marketing company when the economy sucks, it's slow going, right? I'm working at it, putting tons of energy into it, but it's hard. And that's the truth of starting any company. It's not easy, right? I know that. I get that. So let's bring in ChatGPT here. So I have used ChatGPT to help me write my cover letters and hone in on my resumes, all of the above. And I also utilize ChatGPT to come up with some pricing guides and stuff for my Hook and Rise creative company. So, and I've taken on my daughter's massage business as a client for Hook and Rise. And so ChatGPT knows a lot about me, okay? It is scary how much ChatGPT knows about me. So last night, this is going to be a little hard for me to talk about here, but it's kind of comical, honestly. But last night, my mind wandered, and I'm sitting outside enjoying the birds and the cool evening breeze, and I just started thinking about, I wonder what other countries are dealing with right now. Like America, the economy sucks. Not to get too political, but our government is in some massive turmoil right now. And I think it's so far gone that it's not fixable. And Americans are just sick of it, right? Like, they are just like, fuck it. Every man for themselves. And, that's how it is. So I was starting to wonder what it was like in other countries, right? Is this a global problem, or is this a national problem? So I go to ChatGPT and I type in, "Hey Chatty," that's its name to me, Chatty. I said, what would it look like, or what would I have to do to relocate to the UK? And first of all, ChatGPT thinks it's my freaking therapist, just so you all know. Like, it's like, what? I said, I'm just daydreaming here. I'm not really going to do this. I'm just daydreaming. So it said, well, and it spelled out all these facts, and it said, if you're looking to move to the UK to get out of a tumultuous economy and a country with a government that is not doing well, a healthcare system that is on the verge of collapse, you're not going to have a better life over at the UK because they are experiencing a lot of the same problems. I said, okay. So then I said, well, where would be a good place to move in this world? And ChatGPT is like, Marlena, what are you really after here? I'm not kidding you. that one question about moving to the UK turned into and finished with a therapy session that said, what do you see yourself doing in 2 years? Like if your world was good, you were employed, you were making a certain amount of money a year, and everything was good, what would Marlena look like on a regular Tuesday afternoon? And that question rocked me to my core because I could not answer that. ChatGPT and I signed off with each other, and I sat there and I thought about that. And I went to bed thinking about that question. And I had this heavy rock in my gut because I'm like, why can't I answer that question? Like, I'm starting to have an identity crisis, like in a panic attack. Like, why can't I answer that question? Where would I be in 2 years? Why is that so hard to answer? So I wake up this morning and I go back to ChatGPT and I said, listen, you scared the shit out of me last night. Like, why can't I answer this question? And I'm telling you what, ChatGPT, it is scary. We don't even need to finish what ChatGPT told me because it's just frightening how much that system knows me. And the thing that scares me the most about it is it's starting to put emotion behind it. It says things like, listen, Marlena, I know that you are thinking this, this is what's going through your head, but what's the real problem here? If you were to ask yourself this question, so then you answer that question, and then it says, okay, so this is what I'm discerning here. And it's a freaking robot. It's a freaking computer. Why is there emotion behind that, guys? It scares me to death. However, it's cheaper than therapy. So what would I be doing on a regular Tuesday afternoon in 2 years? And my answer to that, just so you all know, ChatGPT helped me come up with the solution. And the answer to that would be, my life would be peaceful. Think about that for a minute. My life would be peaceful. I would have a good job. All the bills would be paid and caught up. And there would be a lot less worry on my plate. And it's hard because I've spent the last 12 years being the business owner and being the person that solves everything and being the person that puts out all the fires. And right now that's not something that I need to do. And I'm a fish out of water. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to do. This morning I woke up and I didn't really have a major task on my plate today. And I was panicking because I was what am I supposed to do today? Where do I go? What do I do? Thankfully, my sweet granddaughter came over and distracted me. But life is heavy right now, guys, and I don't know if I would suggest utilizing ChatGPT, but she's some pretty damn good therapy if you really utilize her a lot, I guess. But it's scary. That's terrifying to me. How well that ChatGPT can help you discern something, can walk you through the process of answering a question and help you come to a solution that you feel good about. It's just really freaky for me, but especially as someone who did all the writing herself. In the journalism world, we didn't have ChatGPT back then. We had to sit down and actually think about it and write it ourselves. And I still do that, right? I still do that. I'm nope, I'm not going to let ChatGPT help me with this. This has to be in my words. So that's what I do. Anyway, this went way over. This is a 20-minute freaking podcast today, guys. Sorry. We're going to rename it today to 20 Unedited Minutes with Marlena. Hopefully we can shorten that up tomorrow again. But thanks for sticking with me today. I just had to get that off my chest. I have been thinking about that all day. And I also went to bed last night with something very heavy on my mind about a documentary that I watched on Netflix last night too. And I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow because that has my mind completely, pardon my French, but completely fucked up. Just so you know. But anyway, you guys have the best night. I love you. Thanks for sticking with me today. Thank you, Rebecca, for being an amazing friend. I hope you had a great day yesterday. It was your birthday. Hopefully Dan sent you something from afar and it was beautiful and you loved it. And I love you. You loved it as much as I love you. So thanks again for sponsoring this podcast. You guys pray for me. I pray for you every day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.